Let's welcome Sandra Kerr, The Power of Stories.
Who doesn't love a good story? The mere thought of listening, telling, or engaging in a story causes my heart to swell. A good story bypasses my cynical, critical, and cranky mind. And I sing. Madeline Longueuil states it another way. We listen to story, go to plays, to be amused, to be edified, but mostly so we can understand what it means to be a human being. Oh, did you hear that? We need stories to understand what it means to be a human being. Personally, I feel like being a human is becoming harder and harder. We're apt at dehumanizing ourselves and those around us. Maybe we need more stories. In the best-selling book of all times, the Bible, Jesus continually used story to teach us how to be more loving people. These teachings motivate us, move us, and mold us towards being more beautiful people. So maybe we need to be aware of the stories we listen to, the stories we tell, and the stories we engage in. A while ago, Dana Holland, our fellow Toastmaster, told the story of Abraham Bankier. He was courageous and determined to do what was right, and he saved 1,000 people from the Nazis' extermination camp. Many of us know his story through Schindler's List, the movie. The story makes me want to weep, both for the victory of the rescue and for the fact that men, women, and children needed to be rescued. By hearing this courageous life story, I am motivated to live courageously. Stories move us. When a story really speaks to me, I can no longer stand on the sideline, but I am motivated to move into action. Some of these actions are internal, like changing a mindset. Some of them can be external, like changing a career. For a great story along this line, you can Google Charity Waters Scott Harrison. I'll put a link after this speech so that you can follow up with that. Personally, I'm continually challenged on a small scale when I'm driving my car. I have the ability to accuse people of their thoughtlessness and inconsideration. But in sweet moments of clarity, I get curious. Why are they driving like that? For example, when somebody cuts me off in traffic, or they fail to use their signal light, or they drive slow in the fast lane, I wonder, maybe they're on their way to or from the hospital. Maybe they were never afforded the gift of driving lessons. Maybe they've had tragedy on the road and driving is a scary adventure. I try to tell generous stories, and this moves me from hypercritical to compassionate and empathetic. Stories mold us. How many of you can remember a story from your childhood that had a great influence on you? How about Little Engine That Could? I think I can, I think I can. It's true, we can. We can influence our growth and development by the stories we engage with. Dr. Morrison, brother to our very own Sherry Morrison Judson, wrote a doctoral dissertation about the use of storytelling to convey organizational beliefs. He states, because stories attract attention more easily than other forms of persuasion, processing a story in working memory is a relatively natural function of the brain. So once again, we hear stories have persuasive power and they stick in our brain. The good news is we have the power to influence the stories that go into our brain. Now, maybe you're blessed and you live and work in an environment where you're told you have value and you can believe and receive this story. But maybe you don't. Maybe you work or live in an environment that tells you you're not enough or you're too much. You can fill in the blank. But this becomes the voice in your head and the story that you repeat to yourself daily. While some stories mold us towards better, This molds us away from our best self. It's repetitive so much that it sounds like the truth. And we lose our ability to decipher between the truth and a lie. In her book, Rising Strong, Brene Brown states, when we deny our stories, they define us. When we own our stories, we get to write the ending. So my challenge today would be pause. Take a moment to examine the story that you're listening to, the stories you're telling, and the stories you're engaging. Ask yourself, do these align with my heart goals? Do they motivate me, move me, and mold me towards becoming a better, more beautiful human? Or is it possible that we need new stories to rewire our cynical, critical, and cranky mind towards minds that are curious, compassionate, and courageous? Remember, this is the beauty of it. We get to write this story. So now, in 2022, let's be generous with ourselves and with those around us and get to participating in some best sellers.